The morning sun glowed softly over Willow Creek Park, scattering golden light through the tall oak trees. Birds sang, children laughed near the swings, and joggers passed by with rhythmic footsteps. Among them was 17-year-old Marcus, his headphones in, his old gray hoodie damp with sweat. He wasn't thinking about much, just trying to clear his head before his afternoon shift at the grocery store. Life hadn't been easy since his father passed, but running made him feel free, like the world wasn't pressing down on him for once. As he slowed to catch his breath near the lake, something unexpected caught his attention. A golden retriever sprinting wildly across the grass, barking and yelping. Its leash dragged behind it, tangled in the dirt. Without hesitation, Marcus jogged toward the dog, crouched and extended a hand. "Hey, easy there, boy," he said gently, his voice calm. The dog stopped, sniffed his hand, and wagged its tail. Marcus smiled, grabbing the leash carefully and looking around. "Where's your owner, huh?" Then, suddenly, a shrill, panicked voice shattered the peace. "Get away from my dog!" Marcus turned, startled. A middle-aged woman in designer sunglasses and a tight blue jacket came rushing toward him, her face twisted in fury. "What do you think you're doing?" she snapped. Marcus blinked, confused. "Ma'am, he was just running loose. I was trying to—" "Don't lie to me," she screamed, stepping back like he'd threatened her. "You're trying to steal him." Marcus's stomach dropped. He raised his hands instinctively. "No, ma'am, I swear, I was—" But she was already reaching for her phone, her voice rising to a trembling pitch. "I'm calling the police," she shouted, eyes wide with fake terror. "There's a suspicious black man here. He tried to grab my dog." The words hit Marcus like a punch to the chest. People nearby stopped and stared. A jogger slowed, whispering to his friend. A couple on a bench frowned, unsure what to believe. Marcus could feel the weight of every gaze pressing down on him. "Please, I didn't do anything," he said, his voice shaking now. But the woman was pacing in circles, pretending to cry, speaking into the phone as though she were in danger. "Yes, send someone quickly. He's aggressive." Marcus's heart pounded so hard it hurt. His throat went dry. He looked down at the dog, still sitting calmly by his side, and then back at her, disbelief flooding his face. "I was helping," he whispered almost to himself. But she wouldn't hear it. Moments dragged like hours. The breeze that had once felt refreshing now felt heavy, suffocating. In the distance, the faint wail of police sirens began to grow louder, closer. Marcus's hands trembled as he dropped the leash and took a small step back, his voice barely audible. "God, please," he murmured. His knees felt weak. The dog barked once, startled by the tension. The woman stood triumphantly, her chin lifted high, clutching her purse as though it would save her. She kept glancing toward the road where the sirens screamed nearer. "You'll learn your place today," she muttered under her breath, unaware that her words carried farther than she thought. And Marcus, standing there alone in the middle of the park, surrounded by stares and judgment, could only think one thing. No matter what he said, no one would believe him. The sound of sirens sliced through the air, growing louder by the second. Marcus stood frozen, his chest rising and falling with quick, panicked breaths. Around him, the park seemed to shrink. The laughter of children stopped, joggers slowed, and even the birds went silent. The woman clutched her phone tightly to her chest, trembling dramatically as if she had survived an attack. "Officers, over here!" she yelled before they even stepped out of the car. Two police cruisers pulled up near the park entrance, tires screeching slightly against the gravel. Marcus swallowed hard. His palms were sweating, his heartbeat echoing in his ears. The officers approached quickly. Two men, one young and cautious, the other older. His jaw set in a practiced look of authority. "Ma'am, what happened?" the older officer asked, glancing between her and Marcus. He, she stammered, pointing a shaky finger. "That boy tried to take my dog. He was chasing me." Her voice cracked as if she were fighting tears. "I was terrified. He wouldn't let go." Marcus took a step forward, his voice trembling. "That's not true. I saw her dog running loose and I—" "Stay where you are," the older officer barked, his hand instinctively moving toward his holster. Marcus froze, his hands rising on reflex. His throat tightened, the words dying in his mouth. The younger officer looked uncertain, glancing at the dog which sat calmly beside Marcus, tail wagging. The scene didn't add up. "Ma'am," he said carefully, "was anyone else here when it happened?" But the woman only pressed her hand to her chest. "It doesn't matter who saw it. Look at him. He scared me to death." Marcus's heart sank. He could feel eyes burning into his back. People whispering, filming, pretending to be shocked but too afraid to intervene. He'd seen this before. Stories like this ended badly. His knees trembled. "Please," he said softly. "I didn't do anything wrong." The older officer's radio crackled, breaking the silence. Then, out of nowhere, the growl of an engine drew everyone's attention. A sleek black sedan swerved to a stop beside the police cars. The doors flew open, and a tall woman in a white suit stepped out, her movements sharp, deliberate, and full of controlled fury. Her heels clicked against the pavement like thunder. "Marcus!" she called, her voice steady and commanding. He turned, relief flooding his face. "Mom," he whispered. Dr. Alicia Bennett didn't hesitate. She walked past the officers as if the air itself parted for her. Her tailored suit glimmered faintly under the sunlight, her posture unshakable. "What's going on here?" she asked coolly. The woman in the blue jacket blinked, momentarily thrown off by the lawyer's presence. You're his mother?" she said, her tone dripping with disbelief. Alicia's gaze was sharp as glass. "Yes," she said. "And you are the woman who called the police on my son?" The park went utterly silent. Even the officers hesitated. Alicia turned to Marcus. "What happened?" "I tried to help her dog," Marcus said quietly. Then she started yelling. "Said I was stealing it." Alicia's jaw tightened. She looked back at the trembling woman. "You accused a teenager of theft because of the color of his skin." Her voice was calm, yet each word carried the weight of thunder. The woman fumbled with her sunglasses. No, you don't understand." "I understand perfectly," Alicia interrupted. "You saw a young black boy near your dog and decided he was a threat. And now, you've wasted police time and publicly humiliated my son." She took a step closer, her tone dropping to something almost lethal. "Do you realize what could have happened if I hadn't arrived?" The woman's breath hitched. I didn't mean—" "Oh, but you did," Alicia said softly, eyes cold. "You meant every word. You used fear as a weapon." The older officer cleared his throat, uneasy. "Ma'am, maybe we should—" "No," Alicia snapped, turning to him. "You should be taking her statement for filing a false report. My son has been standing here terrified while you pointed at your gun." Her words landed like blows. The woman's hands began to shake. Her dog whimpered beside her. The younger officer looked away, ashamed. For the first time, the accuser's eyes darted around, seeing the crowd of onlookers recording everything. Her face flushed red with humiliation. Alicia turned back to her son, gently placing a hand on his shoulder. "You're safe now," she whispered. Then, louder, enough for everyone to hear, she said, "Remember this moment, Marcus, because someday people like her will have to answer for what they do." The woman couldn't speak. She just stood there trembling, her fake confidence stripped away, her lies collapsing under the weight of truth. The woman's face was pale, her sunglasses trembling in her hand as the reality of what she'd done began to sink in. Around her, the park was silent. No laughter, no whispers, only the heavy air of shame pressing against her chest. The police stood awkwardly, one of them muttering into his radio while avoiding Alicia's piercing gaze. The younger officer knelt to calm the golden retriever, who, unaware of the chaos, simply wagged its tail and looked up at Marcus as if to thank him. Dr. Alicia Bennett stood tall, her composure like polished steel. "Officer," she said evenly, "you do have the 911 recording, correct?" The older cop nodded stiffly. "Yes, ma'am." "Good," she replied, "because I'll be requesting a copy for evidence. False reporting based on racial bias isn't just wrong. It's criminal." Her tone was calm, but her words landed like a verdict. The woman swallowed hard, her lips trembling. "Please, I didn't know he was your son," she whispered. Alicia turned her head slowly, her expression unreadable. "That's the problem," she said. "You didn't need to know who he was. You only saw what you wanted to see." The woman's knees seemed to weaken beneath her. I was scared. It just looked suspicious. Suspicious? Alicia interrupted, her voice rising, though she never lost control. A 17-year-old boy helping your dog? That's what terrified you? Not his actions, but his skin. The crowd was silent. People who'd watched passively now looked at the woman with disgust. A mother held her child closer, whispering something softly. A man lowered his phone, shaking his head. The once proud woman who had screamed and called for help now stood small and exposed, every lie she had told collapsing beneath the truth. Alicia took a deep breath, then turned to Marcus. "Let's go," she said gently, brushing the hair from his
forehead like she did when he was little. He nodded. Still shaken but calmer now, his mother's presence anchoring him. They began to walk away, the sound of her heels steady and certain. The officers didn't stop them. One even gave Marcus a brief nod of respect. But as they reached the edge of the park, Alicia paused. She turned back, her eyes locking once more on the woman. "Next time," she said quietly, "think before you weaponize your fear." It almost cost an innocent boy his life today. The woman's lip quivered. Tears slid down her cheeks. She tried to speak, but no sound came out. The dog licked her hand, confused by her trembling. She sank onto the grass, burying her face in her palms as the crowd slowly began to disperse, the moment etched forever in their minds. Marcus and his mother reached the car. He hesitated before getting in, looking back one last time. "Mom," he said softly, "why do people hate us so much when they don't even know us?" Alicia's hand tightened on the steering wheel before she turned to him, her voice steady but filled with quiet pain. "Because ignorance is easy, Marcus. It takes courage to see people for who they are." She started the engine, her reflection in the rearview mirror hard but proud. "And you, my son, you'll teach them courage by simply existing without fear." As the car pulled away, the woman sat motionless in the grass, surrounded by the echoes of what she'd done. The truth had stripped her bare, no excuses left, no lies to hide behind. And though Marcus didn't see it, she watched their car disappear down the road, her tears blurring the line between guilt and awakening. For the first time, she truly understood the damage her fear had caused, and the silence of the park was her only answer.